is a process of decisions podcast. This is Trent Thomas, your recovery peer support specialist. Tonight's episode is entitled Feeling Guilt and Shame for Those We Love. This life is a constant series of hills and valleys, a consistent struggle predicated on the universal law of choices, decisions, consequences, and rewards. A law that designates consequences for bad or wrong decisions and life or rewards for correct or good decisions. With this mandate, every living creature must abide. This fact is often overlooked when dealing with the guilt and shame of someone you care about. Often in these relationships, the guilt and shame associated with bad or wrong decisions is passed on as belonging to the member of a relationship where caring and love is at the center. When you care, or especially when love is at the foundation of relationship, then the actions or wrong decisions produce feelings of shame and guilt as if you enacted the decisions on behalf of the loved one. The truth is far different. When you feel a responsibility for the actions of wrong as if you could have prevented or stood in the shoes of the one you love, this feeling of shared responsibility promotes the actions of remorse or hiding the facts deep within the psyche of one's own mind, thus producing deep rooted feelings of regret and dread. This feeling multiplies as you deal with your own bad decisions, now coupled with the feelings of shame and guilt you feel for the actions of the one you love. This expression of shared shame and guilt is often felt with parents and children, or siblings, and even husband and wife. The intricacies of this revelation of passed on shame and guilt can be levied from either party in a relationship, and all too often experienced by both parties. Minus a refreshing barrage of truth and expression by all parties involved, one can take this guilt and shame to the grave. There is a slogan that states, "You are as sick as your secrets." Shared expressed truth is the remedy. Truth releases the built up hidden guilt and shame. The need for amends is mandatory and should be expressed in meaningful messages from the heart to all parties involved. Amends, however, can be a dangerous proposition. Knowing what details to be revealed requires prayerful consideration. Amends should be exercised after a conversation with the God of your understanding. For me, it involved a period of persistent meditation and reflective contemplation, a prayer consultation with God on what to and what not to say. Eventually, the truth of our bad past decision can either haunt us or relieve us from the constant strain of bearing up under all the guilt and shame we have experienced on behalf of those we love. This love or deep feelings for a loved one can be best described as deep and expansive roots, roots that feed the weeds of guilt and shame. These vines of weeds will stretch and grow as long as we deny the feeling of love and hide from the light of truth. This bright light will serve to heat up and burn the weeds of guilt and shame. Truth prevents us from carrying around the dead weight of guilt and shame, spurred on by the decisions of others. The fact that their decisions were their decisions, and right or wrong, they must own their own decisions, consequences, and rewards. No one can stand in for another when it comes to the choices, decisions, consequences, and rewards mandate. Each person will suffer the consequences for his or her wrong decisions. Guilt is the admission of a wrong or bad decision. Shame stems from the hiding of that guilty action. Shame invokes feelings of dread and recompense for those bad actions. Making amends is necessary in this case and involves the revealing of the simple truth regarding who did what in the past and holding accountability for each person's own mistakes, thus putting to rest all shameful images of bad past deeds for oneself and those we cared for. Relieving ourselves of this burden of guilt and shame is like a refreshing, cool breeze on a hot summer day. Freedom from guilt and shame is a blessing that comes from God and the truth that God inspires and delivers to us. Our sustained recovery is dependent upon our dismissing these pent up feelings of shame and guilt. For me, it was absolutely crucial in progressing to the next stage of my recovery and proved instrumental in my mandate to just do better every day. This is Trent Thomas on the Recovery is a Process of Decisions podcast. Please leave your inspiring comments on transnetrecover.com/podcast. And please follow me on Facebook and Instagram, hashtag TransNetRecover. Thank you.